Right, welcome. We've got the team here again for the book club, the Business Growth Academy book club. I have Amy, Cameron, Sarah, Morag and John. And I'll start off, we'll go through top three, if you've got a top three, things with the takeaway of the book, and your rating out of 5 for the book, and anything else that you'd like to talk about. So I'm actually going to start with Amy.
Is it because I read this one?
I like how you did that, read in quotations.
I know, I'm a believer now.
Yes, go on. What did you think?
I loved the book, found it much easier to listen to than I ever thought possible. All those 15 minutes really add up. I was listening to it on my phone, I listened to it in the car. Those habits are now quite normal for me. What can I say I've taken away from the book? I've implemented a lot. Like, I've got my gym kit on today and I've been to yoga because I figured if I put the kit on, it would make me do it. It is a bit easier these days though, because you have to book into a session. So I'm less likely to not go because I wouldn't cancel it. I've also tried to implement them with my daughter getting ready in the morning, instead of me flying around going, we're going to be late, hurry up. Do the little changes, try and implement little bits so that every day we can add to it. And yesterday we were ready by 20 to 9. Today we weren't.
Backward step.
What went wrong today?
Don't they say don't miss more than 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I hadn't done. I think we'd got everything done, including homework. So we'd got to the end of the week, like Friday is the start of the week, if that makes sense, homework wise. So it worked yesterday, and then today it was all different again. So it wasn't really routine. So I don't know. But yes, I really enjoyed the book. I'd give it a 5 out of 5.
Okay, excellent, good. Okay, fine. Cameron, go on.
So yeah, I enjoyed the book. I read it on the Kindle, which was interesting because I've been doing a lot of this year where I've read lots of books on Kindle. And whilst it's easy to do and it's good for someone like me who's, getting into late 40s and your eyesight's getting a bit buggered, so it means I've got a lit background, I can increase the size of the text. But what it also means is I don't have the book there at hand just to pick up and flick through it. So I'm going to go and get a physical copy of the book now. But what I found with the book was that to start off with, I wasn't quite sure. I mean, I liked his backstory. And when he started talking about the habits, I really wasn't sure where it was going. But then it's when he gets into the implementation and the system and about kind of habit associations and habit stacking and how to create new associations and new stackings, that's when it all started to kick in. Because I thought, I've been through this many times. I've tried to change things. It's that whole sort of procrastination thing. You just keep putting things off because you know that the long-term solution is always going to be long-term. But it's starting to make those changes. And so for me, especially as someone who's a new venture, and I've gone away from that rigorous corporate structure where I've always been sort of told what to do, essentially, into doing things for myself, I know that I need to definitely develop my own discipline and through better habits. So I'm just finding myself on a day-to-day basis trying to create new associations, knowing that, I need to get certain things done before 9 in the morning. I need to make a list the night before, because if I make a list in the morning of things to do, it doesn't work. My brain's not working properly. Whereas if I've made the list the night before, I can kick straight into action in the morning. So it's been things like that just, changing slightly the way I've been doing things. And it's just an ongoing process now with office, my home office, clearing the clutter, just understanding what's distracting me, what doesn't distract me, and trying to be more productive so that I don't feel the need to have to finish things off on an evening or a weekend.
Excellent. Score out of 5?
I'd give it a 4. I'd give it a 4 just because I tend not to give it 5s very often.
Okay. Anybody else? Because the one thing one of my takeaways is the habit stacking. I've found that really, really useful. I don't know when anybody else has found that. Particularly on the morning routine of stacking.
Yeah.
And getting something done. I've found good. But we'll come to you next, Sarah, anyway. So I'm going around that way in a circle.
It was one of the main ones for me. I enjoyed the book. I'd already read the book previously. So I reread it. And then when we didn't do it last month, I reread it again. So because I'm trying to get it stuck in my head, because I listen to it, I find it difficult for it to stick, because I haven't got something to go back to. So and I've had another flick through. I've had another go through some of the extra information that James Clear can send out if you sign up for the newsletter. So this morning, so habit stacking is one of the main ones for me. Just filtering into something that you already do and making something else automatic as well is working. Same as Cameron. The other thing is making lists, making my to-do list for the next day the night before. It's absolutely essential for me to keep myself focused through the day, is putting that routine into the day. So and I put time slots to it as well. I think I've probably talked about this before. I put the list. I give an order to what I want that needs to happen, and then I give times to it as well. Not necessarily a physical, this is done at 11, this is done at 12, but it's going to take me half an hour, it's going to take me an hour and a half, and then I can work out how I do it through the day and make sure it's realistic as well. So it's those little things, making sure that what you're trying to do, you can achieve through that day, so you don't feel defeated at the end of the day. What else was there? Starting small, yeah. Starting, so it's getting things. It's that it could be the tiniest little thing, just like putting your hoodie on so that you're going to the gym, or your trainers on to go for a run or whatever. It's doing that and then go, right, I've done that, so I might as well carry on and do something and just get started rather than keep putting it off. So they were the main ones. Making it easy is basically what it is, making it easy. So I give it 4. Again, don't think I go 5s away very easily. So, but I take a lot away from this book.
Good. The one thing around that is that starting small is that the law of motion. What's in motion stays in motion. What's at rest stays at rest. And that once you get into it, because I find this with doing a particular task, if a task is something I'm not particularly keen on doing, or it's out of my comfort zone, I do a small 2-minute task associated with it, because that gets me moving. As soon as I'm moving, I finish it because I'm in motion, and it stays in motion, and so I keep going.
It's the same as breaking things. It's exactly the same as breaking it down into bite-sized chunks, isn't it? So that it doesn't look as daunting, that massive job that you're trying to get done. I've been doing it today. I've been doing it this morning. I keep looking at my website and going, I need to update. I need to get more information, improve my website. And I just keep saying that to myself, I need to do it. And I was like, I'm not doing it. So today I've started, and the baby step was to look at some local interior design competitors, basically, and see what they do. So right, okay. So let's just start breaking it down now to try and actually get myself motivated to do something. Good.
Morag?
Yeah, very much like what the others are saying as well. I have read the book, all of it, but I kind of had a chunk in the middle where I went onto a different one because I was reading that with another group, but it was about the consistency chain. So it was very, very similar. So I kind of have forgotten a lot of stuff at the beginning and then from there. So I need to go through all my highlighted, because I like Cameron, I was doing it on Kindle. So I like to be able to just flick through and just focus on all my highlighted sections. But definitely the small steps is great. But even just, I think it comes onto the habit stacking, simple things, because I got out of the habit of reading, and then it was, bedtime, it was too late to go do it at bedtime. So what I've done is, like, when I'm having my breakfast, I'll sit down to have it, and I'll just have my Kindle out, even if it's just a couple of pages that I'm reading, because then once I'm in that habit, rather than, because I don't really go on Facebook much, I don't really do social media much, and I felt, rather than flicking through and catching up on emails then, when I'm not actually concentrating, I can't reply or can't do anything, I'll just go on my book. So that just that one simple little thing kind of gets me into that habit. And if it's a habit of like 10 minutes every day, I'm doing some personal development by reading. But like Amy was saying, it's sort of a little bit with the kids as well, predominantly my eldest who's just started high school. So, you know, as soon as you come in from school, just get on with your homework, just do it, just get it done, then it's done. And even with this football, the bit at the end about the board, you know, the difference between those that do well and those that don't, it's those that can sustain the boring things, you know. So yeah, it's just trying to get their heads around that, but that's why you've got to keep on going over it and over it and over it. So but yeah, no, I need to go over all my highlighted sections, and I loved it though. I would say 5 out of 5 because it's one that I think if I can change my habits, either good or changing the bad ones, it will make a massive difference to the day-to-day either productivity or outcome.
Yeah, that again, that habit stack, I did a similar thing. Is when Alison goes out of an evening, so she goes out, she walks the dog or whatever she's doing, going up to see a mate or whatever, I, instead of sitting there watching the TV, have associated that with that to again, for a gap for me to read. So everything's turned off and I read again. So I was looking at time elements as to where I could get for reading, because I, like you more, I got about 2 or 3 books on the go at any one time. So I just picked one up from that side. It's good. John, how about you?
Well, first of all, I thought it was very, very well written and really easy to read. I mean, compared to the previous book, it was like night and day. The last one was a real struggle. This one read like a novel, nice and easy. I found it interesting because it makes you think about your habits, both your good ones and your bad ones. And I particularly like the small steps approach, the continuous improvement, sort of more evolution than revolution. But I guess that dates back to the Kaizen days and the Unipart days.
And that's what I was going to say. I was going to say to you, because I wrote down the marginal gains, and I wondered whether you would be exactly the same based on what we'd done at Unipart many years ago. Absolutely,
it's built in, isn't it?
Yeah,
from those days.
Yeah.
As far as takeaways from the book, I like the visual cues thing. I know we're all familiar with supermarkets and eye-level things, but I'd never really associated that with sort of your personal life and things, and modifying your habits by positioning things in the house and even in the fridge, that sort of thing, to change your habits. I thought that was useful. I liked the idea of habit tracking. So if you use a calendar for tracking, you can clearly see if you've missed one, because as they said, you don't want to miss 2. So you can quite clearly look at a calendar and go, yep, 30 days or once a week or whatever that habit needs to be done, it's done. And then the third thing for me was the Goldilocks rule, where you pitch your tasks or your habits right on the edge of your current ability. So they're not too hard and they're not too easy. I like that. I thought that was useful in the little graphs they'd put for that. They're the 3 things for me. And as books go, it ticked all the boxes for me. It was easy to read, it was relevant, it was useful, and it's a 5 out of 5 from me.
Excellent. Superb.
Hey, what was the previous book, just out of interest?
4-Hour Work Week.
If you'd have read the previous book, you'd have learnt about doing your to-do list the night before.
You know, yes, John, I started reading that book. That was Tim Ferriss, wasn't it?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and I really struggled with that book. I got to this.
I wouldn't bother.
Yeah.
About halfway through.
Yeah, we all did. We all struggled our way through that one.
It's one of those. If I look back at that now, like John, you say around this book compared to that book, I think we all gave it 3 out of 5. I think it was, wasn't it? Something like that.
It was as much as that.
Yeah.
Do you know what?
I think Tim Ferriss
I'd actually lower that now.
Yeah.
I thought it was 2.
Looking back,
I think he's on the spectrum as well, Tim Ferriss. I mean, he's just the detail he goes into, just it's unreal.
Yeah, that was the one thing. There was a lot of detail in it. I agree with you, John. I thought this was an easy read. I think it was lovely to read, nice, well written. The 3 things I took away, I think we spoke about 2 of them, and this which is the habit stacking and the marginal gains, because the marginal gains do compound, and that's where you're just looking for that 1% difference. Like, and I'd read it around the British cycling anyway, around that 1% make a difference. There was another one that how to make the boat go faster, which was the 8-man team. I think it was 8-man team that won gold, and they weren't given a cat and mouse chance for a GB team in the Olympics, and they argued, they were fighting, they were out on the piss all the time, and eventually they brought it down, and the focus was whatever makes the boat go faster we'll do. So that 1% gain, and they won, and they were not given a cat and mouse chance at the start of the race. The one that I've found really useful is this one where, if I'm putting myself off from doing a task, asking myself, what would the Adam of in 12 months' time, when you've reached that goal, what would he do? Would he leave it, or would he be doing it? What would the successful Adam do? And I found that quite powerful in getting me to actually push over certain things and push through certain things as well. But for me, I like the others, I was going to go 4 out of 5 because I don't like giving 5s out. I think there's always room for improvement. But that's me. But it did tick all the boxes. I thought it was a great read. There is stuff that I have taken out of that, probably far more than I've taken out in the 4-hour work week, to be fair. I like the view of when we set our goals, because we're all about this. When you set a goal, we set a goal. The only way you're going to change that goal is by changing the process. And sometimes when changing the process, you've got to change your identity of who you are to change that process. And I thought that early on in the book was good as well, because that reinforced around the facts of some of the stuff that we were doing, John, and the others have done, from years back. So yeah, I did think it was good. Anything else from it? Anybody wants to talk about?
Although I've listened to it, I've forgotten an awful lot. I've finished it at the weekends, and I think I was so concentrated on getting it finished so that I wasn't that person again this month. But because I haven't written anything down and I listened to it, I've walked miles listening to it, which is a really good habit for me to be in now. But I've missed so much, I can't remember it in detail like you've just described.
I don't know.
Here's a question then.
Just one thing. I don't know if the audio is the same, but I particularly like the end of each chapter where there was a little summary.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really good, especially last night, to look back to pick out bits and pieces for today. It was useful to just go back to the little summaries.
Yeah. The other thing, Amy, is if you go on his website and sign up for the downloads, the bonus downloads, it gives you little summaries. It sends you.
Okay.
I like his email
now. The summaries of the habit stacking and various different things, and it gives you. And then he sends. I've signed up for the newsletter as well, which is also because I often don't read newsletters, and I was like, I can't be bothered. I haven't got time. But I make some time to look at this one because it's informative and it's useful, and a lot of it is repetitive from the book, but then that helps to just reinforce it. So I found that very useful, is using the bonus information that he sends through.
Yeah, is that what you get then, Morag? You get the newsletter, email newsletter?
Yeah, it must be, because I think Sarah might, I think he often gives like 3 different
That's right.
things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
I think it's a weekly, isn't it, or a couple of times a week? But
Yeah, something like that. I think because there's not too much content either, you can just quickly go on and just put a pin. Yeah.
But the extra chapters are good too. So there's a chapter that applies to business and a chapter that applies to parenting. But I think it's worth getting those as a download. And I think there was a Q&A document as well, which was really good. It's just like a summary of the whole book, just to say, all right, what if this happens? What if that happens? How does this work? It's nice to run through that at the end. Yeah,
because you put that on the in the WhatsApp group, didn't you? Saying that you downloaded the stuff from the end of the chapter. That's right.
That was one handy thing about the Kindle, because you could just click on the link.
Yeah, can't do that with textbook. You look a bit of a muppet trying to do that, wouldn't you, in the book? licking windows somewhere. Shouldn't say that really. Should politically correct. Shouldn't be saying things like that. But there you go. What was I going to say to you? Would you read the book again?
Yeah.
Don't like
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, that's good.
I've already read it 3 times now.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, Sarah, of course. Yeah.
That's a good habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not a habit that I'm into at all, because usually if I read a book, I'm not a big reader. So if I read a book, I've usually, that's it, it's done, it's gone. I don't revisit. Same with films. I don't watch films over and over. But this one I've gone back to. So
I think because it's a book that can influence you, impact, it can change the ways you want to change.
And not just on business side either. It's you can improve on your personal life as well.
Yeah.
Personal habits.
No, good. Okay.
Good choice.
3 books. I said I was going to bring 3 books. I don't mind if you want to recommend something else, but the 3 books I was coming with was because people have mentioned them beforehand, and we've mentioned them in the past as well. We have The Lean Startup. We have Thinking Fast and Slow. And another one, which is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. What stands out from people at the minute?
Which
Do you
is the
want to go
fattest
away?
book.
Thinking Fast and Slow. I've got that book. I started to read it.
I know you did. You said you were down at the beach.
It's a good sized book and the print's pretty small. So I think there's a lot of information in that book.
Thinking Fast and Slow was one of those books, I think it was the year before last, where they said it was, in terms of ratio of people that buy it but never read it, it had one of the highest ratios.
Oh, right. It's one of those ones that is very, very high up though on the so people that the big influencers that go around on the podcast, like Tim Ferriss and Derek Sivers and people like that, CD Baby, that's in their top 5.
That's one that was recommended to me.
I know it was recommended to more. I can remember you saying it, because me and you, I think, I said, how about this one? And you said, yes, I've heard about that one as well. It's whether we can get it finished in a month. The thing for me is I don't mind if it's a book that is of particular interest and it may be a thick book, then let's give it 2 months and go for that. There's no issue. We don't need to. It's just getting into that habit of reading, isn't it? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I've heard loads about.
I've read it, but not for many years.
So I don't know. And then Lean Startup. Is there any others though? Somebody else mentioned another book to me. I don't know a lot about it, but it was called Essentialism, and they said that was another good book.
I've heard on that one.
So thoughts then? Any particular?
I don't mind.
I don't mind.
Yeah, don't mind.
Whichever one, I'll aim to read it, because sometimes you just keep putting off certain things, don't you? So
well, I'm not going to make the decision this time. I made it last time, so somebody else can make the decision. So, because then somebody else can get the bullet.
Is that how it works?
Should we put it out to the group though, because not everybody's here, and vote on WhatsApp?
Yeah, you see, I'm one of these, and I hope the group are going to listen. Actually, exactly right, Morag, is what I was going to say. As soon as you're not here and not attended, you ain't got to say. So
it's just whether will they or won't they read it then.
That's the other side. So
priorities.
Go up, Morag. You pick one out of that 3.
Do you know what then? What is it? See, I've even got the post-it up here. Think Fast and Slow, because that was recommended to me. So if it's big and thick and tiny writing, it just might make me just stick with it and read it then.
Okay. I'm up for that as well.
And if everyone's saying, "Oh, this is too hard," then I'll probably not be so bad at.
I'll put it in the book club anyway, and say, right, the next book is Think Fast and Slow, Thinking Fast and Slow, and I'll put a link in there. If anybody doesn't want to, and get a consensus around it, so at least everybody's had a say, but we'll go for that one. Who's trying it on Audible? Who's going to read it? Book.
On my book. Kindle.
I'm actually switching to a physical book this time, because I've got the paper. I've got a hard copy. So
I'm going to try Audible. Why not? Not done that before.
I'm audio now.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go book. I have to.
Still
I have
book,
to.
always book.
I have to because I end up doing that with them. So
I
I've
might
got
actually buy this one though. That Atomic Habits might actually have the book just to flick through a bit.
I did think that book was really good. To be fair, I really did. So, did you? Now, as a question on Sarah, in doing that, thinking fast and slow. When did you get that? What made you go for that
It
one?
was something that I saw last year, and I put it on my Christmas list. So I got it for Christmas, and probably over Christmas I read about 4 pages, and now I've forgotten it all. I haven't picked it up again since. This is what I'm like with books, you see. So this is going to be a habit changer for me. I'm going to have to do what James Clear suggests and put the book on my pillow so that I read it when I get into bed, because normally I just pick my phone up and skim a bit and then listen to something before I go to sleep. So
I'd say my post that I've got, I think this book, am I right in saying it won a Nobel Peace Prize as well?
Yeah, I think so.
It did, yeah. It did. It has got some real good write-ups and reviews, and there's a lot of people do discuss it and talk about it. And it is what it was only because I was listening to some podcasts, and all the podcasts when they were talking about it referenced this book. Because another one is, which I've got here and I haven't read yet. They reckon that this is one of the most, and it's an old book, but they reckon that one.
I've got an even older version.
Yeah. They reckon
Would you want to do that one then?
I've still not read it.
Would you want to read that one then first?
Well, they reckon this one does have an impact on you. Everybody's read it. Now, I can't say that because I haven't read it, but they reckon
well,
it
if
is
you've
good.
got it, if Cameron's got it, do you want to go with that one then? Because it was on the list before, wasn't it?
It is quite thick.
What size text?
You sound like me, Sarah.
It is small.
Oh, too many words.
I mean, just not. It is.
Why don't you then put those 2 options onto the group?
All right, we'll do that then. I'll do Fast and Slow and Awaken the Giant Within, because both of them have had and are always recommended from the influencers I've listened to on podcasts. They're always in the top 10, top 5. So I'll put them in.
When you're giving it deadlines, so that because don't want to buy it until
Monday. Do you think Monday?
Yeah.
Monday long enough.
Yeah.
So if nobody answers or replies, which one do you want to go with? Thinking Fast or Slow or Awaken the Giant Within as this group?
I'll go for the second one just because I've got a copy.
And I this one,
Okay. Awaken the Giant Within. Okay, so let's see what everybody else says. If nobody comments, we'll go with Awaken the Giant Within. I'll put a link in the group anyway for those that are in Amazon and that side that want it. So thank you very much again. This will go out in a week on Monday because Amy's podcast is on Monday. And so, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.